One of the biggest cultural stories this week was Beyonce having a wardrobe malfunction during her concert in London. Have either of you ever had a wardrobe malfunction moment?
Well, you spent 100
Especially you,
years on
Skip,
TV.
with your
Yeah.
countless decades on
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, you had.
Um,
I had a malfunction, but you go with yours.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go.
All right.
Oh,
I've
God,
never
here
told
he's
this story.
clearing his voice again.
Sorry. She did it. It's her fault.
God.
I did have one that I've never spoken about publicly, and I will speak about
Okay.
it now. But it wasn't really my fault. It was an encouraged wardrobe malfunction.
Okay.
I was on a show at ESPN back in the day called Prime Monday. It aired on ESPN ahead of Monday Night Football, which was then on ABC.
Right,
So we were on
ABC.
for a couple of hours. So I would fly from where I lived in Dallas every Monday afternoon. I would fly to Hartford, Connecticut, rent car, drive to Bristol, 30, 40 minutes. And we would do our show, and then I would fly back on Tuesday to Dallas. So I was doing talk radio in Dallas and writing, and I had a lot going on. And one Sunday night off a Cowboy home game, I just blanked out and forgot to throw black socks into my bag. So I didn't have any socks to wear on television with the suit that I'd taken up to Bristol, Connecticut to the ESPN mothership to do this Prime Monday show. And I realized it that afternoon at the hotel, you know, the hotel in Bristol.
I know.
Ugh.
Looked like an insane asylum.
It looked like an insane asylum. I was afraid people were going to leap out the windows.
Oh, it was scary.
But I was there in my room on the first floor, and my producer was in the room named Joe Valera, because we were going to go for a run for an hour outside in the afternoon. And I told him, I don't have any socks. He's like, forget it. Just go without socks tonight. Nobody cares. It was our opening night of season 2 on the show. And I thought, I never not wear socks. I'm not a sockless kind of guy.
Right.
And I went without socks. And little did I know that the handheld camera, they decided in season 2 to move it more, so they were sort of going all around our debate table.
Because normally they just shoot from waist up.
But we were called the Knights of the Round Table. It was Mitch Albom, Michael Wilbon, and I with Mike Tirico refereeing, moderating. And he stood behind us to moderate, but the camera's swooping all around. And obviously, I'm on the right wing, and it immediately catches the fact that my white ankles are showing, and I probably had on like a dark blue suit, so it was just glaringly white ankles without socks. Finished the segment. Joe Valero meets me as I leave the set, and he's out of his mind, beside himself, and he says, John Walsh, who then ran ESPN, called the control room for Joe Valero during our segment, our debate, and said, what the hell is he doing? Is he going Hollywood on us in season 2? Never again. And Joe said, I had to fight back to keep you on the show. Like he was ready to pull my plug on the show because I had the wardrobe malfunction that was actually inflicted upon me by my producer, who obviously took no blame at all.
Up for you.
And it was the first time I knew in this business, you're on your own.
He doesn't have your back.
He does not have my back.
He would not hop a flight. I hate to tell
and yet, that's another one about friends.
Yeah.
I consider Joe a friend. He's not with us anymore. Rest in peace, Joe. But I liked him a lot. We went on lots of runs together. We had many meals together. But when push came to shove,
people don't have your back.
When his job's on the line,
forget about you. Yeah, that's a good
I'm
one.
gone.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I had one. I wasn't on TV, but I was going for a job interview, and I'll never forget. I had a purple skirt suit on with high heels, and it was a fashion job I was going for. And I was in a cab on 57th between 5th and Madison, right in front of right in front of the Four Seasons Hotel. And we were stopped at a light, and there were a couple of cars in front of us. And all of a sudden, we hear this explosion, like a giant explosion, and the back window, the glass behind me, shattered and was completely all over my blazer and my hair. And we got down in the seat. We thought there was a sniper. We didn't know what happened. So he pulls over, and I get out of the cab, and I'm just covered in glass. And he's like, are you okay? I said, I don't know. I have glass all over me. And
Hey,
what we realized was that it was the summer
yeah,
and it was very hot, and he had just put in a new glass in the back rear view, I
and
don't
it
know, window, and
expanded
it
somehow
expanded
and
and
it exploded.
exploded. But I had 10 minutes to get to my interview, and I ran. It was right on Madison and 57th, and I remember running, and I was covered in glass. I'm trying to shake off the glass, and when I got up to the interview, the guy just looked at me. I said, "If you see glass," I just was in a cab that I didn't get the job, but I did go for the interview. That was my crazy story.
Maybe he thought you were just crazy.
I don't know, maybe, but
Maybe
every time I
exploding
walk
glass
past that
cost you the
50,
job.
every time I walk past that Four Seasons, I think of me sitting in that cab. Isn't that
Wardrobe
weird?
malfunctions, neither of them caused by us,
No,
right? So we weren't blamed for
no,
either of our malfunctions.
no.